Hi, everyone. Welcome to the August community call. So we'll do our usual quick intros, and then we'll talk about a couple of topics that I mentioned on GitHub. So Terraform registry modules, support for private Terraform registry modules on Terraform Cloud, and GitLab is live. I want to demo the VSCode extension project tree view very quickly. And then I've got a sneak peek preview of the Infracost Cloud. There's a bunch of changes we've made there, and there's going to be a new blog to announce it soon this week. And then we'll talk about any other topics that come up. So I can go first. I'm Ali, one of the co-founders of Infracost. That's it. I won't say anymore. I think the community know me already. I'll shut up.
I'm Alistair. I'm another co-founder of Infracost. I mainly focus on all the sort of engineering side of things.
Josh, can you give a quick intro?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. My name's Josh. I lead the engineering side of things for a startup based in Edinburgh called Ironburst.
Welcome. So first up, I'm going to share my screen. I think that might be easier for me to show things. There we go. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Perfect. So the Infracost CLI has traditionally always worked with Git modules. So if you were using private Terraform modules that lived on GitHub or GitLab or something like that, you could run Infracost, and in the same way that the Terraform CLI downloads the modules and kind of makes them available to any other tools like Infracost did the same. So when you used private modules, we couldn't just clone. So you could specify specifically in CI/CD, you could specify something like a get SSH key. So those private modules could be cloned from GitHub or any other private repo. Again, this is similar to what Terraform and Terragrunt does. So those are downloaded, then the Infracost HCL parser runs over that code, and it shows you the cost of those modules in the same way that it would with anything else. So what is new recently is we're seeing more and more users put their modules on a Terraform registry. So something like hosted on Terraform Cloud or on GitLab. And up until last month, we could not work with that. Now we do. So what you can do is, specifically for private modules hosted there, you can set a Terraform Cloud token or a host if you're using Terraform Enterprise. And then the CLI will detect those, and it will download those modules and evaluate them in the same way that it did with other private modules. This also works with GitLab. So we need to update the documentation here, but you could set this to a GitLab token, right, Alistair?
Yeah, so for GitLab, you can set that to a GitLab token. And it also reads from your .terraform or the .terraform RC or .terraform D file as well for any creds in there.
Perfect. Yeah, so this is now live and it works. We had a lot of good feedback and early testers from the community on this, specifically on GitLab. So thanks, everyone. This is kind of how we make these edge cases work nicer, by just getting really early feedback on the open source side. Anything else, Alistair, on Terraform modules? Did I miss anything?
We have an example now for caching those modules. And
yes. Yeah, I want to show that. So for people who have a lot of modules and they're downloading them on each CI/CD run, specifically once when breakdown runs, or once on the master branch or main branch, and once on the pull request branch, Alistair has added this example here. Do you want to give an overview of that, Alistair?
Sure. So basically, what we've seen is users will have use a lot of remote Terraform modules, and it takes a lot of time to download these, and it's running on every CI/CD run. So what this does is this just is an example that runs a workflow on both your main/master branch and on the pull request. And on the main branch, it will download the modules and cache them, and it's an incremental cache. So if you add a new module, it will just download the latest new module each time. So that means when you're coming to run your pull request, it doesn't need to actually do that step at all. So it can save minutes if you've got a lot of remote modules from your actual workflow time.
What's been the speed of this on the users you work with, Alistair?
Some of them minutes.
Awesome.
Some of them like 30 seconds. For our own infrastructure, only about 15 seconds, but we don't use a lot of external modules.
Okay. So the reason
it's a 2x speed up even for our own stuff. So.
The reason we haven't made this the main README example is because A, it's a lot more complicated, and B, it's not clear yet how many users would benefit from this additional kind of complexity. So it's here in GitHub Actions. If people want to try it and give us feedback, that's exactly the kind of thing we're looking for next, to see if this should become like the main example or the main way people run Infracost on GitHub Actions or not. So that was the registry modules. Next up is VSCode extension. So little context on the VSCode extension. Josh, I'm not sure if you've used this or not.
Not yet, no.
Okay, awesome. So this is the newest addition to the open source product, and basically it's like running the Infracost CLI, but in your editor. So you don't really have to do anything. You just write Terraform code. It works with VSCode just now. There's community members asking for other IDE support. But the basic premise is you write Terraform and you see cost estimates right above the code block. It's that simple. It also works with modules, hence why we spent a lot of time working with private modules and public modules. So it doesn't matter if you're editing a module, you can still see the cost of that module. Modules are important because often what we're seeing in a lot of larger company setups is a centralized infrastructure team will be creating a bunch of shared modules that the other eng teams will then use. So not everybody's rolling their own bespoke way of doing RDS. There's some sanity at those larger companies. You can see a breakdown if you click on one of those cost estimates. And this opens up on the right in Visual Studio. So you can see the CLI output in tabular form right in the editor. And this is the newest thing that we added in August. So when you open your project, you can see a tree view where you see basically the cost of a project, the cost of a file, or the cost of a resource block. So you can kind of see where in the hierarchy the most expensive things are, and you can zoom in quickly on those things. This is live in the latest version of the VS Code, and we're getting really good feedback on the VS Code extension. So if you haven't seen the issues already, create new issues or watch them for updates, and keep the feedback coming on the VS Code. It's very exciting to work with users who have been using the CLI for like a year, and now they're using the CLI in a very different way inside the editor. So that was the VS Code. And I want to move on to Infracost Cloud. So Infracost Cloud is our SaaS product. We've been working on it for a while, and later this week we'll announce it, but I'm giving the community a preview. So Infracost Cloud basically builds up on the open source community version by giving team leads managers and FinOps visibility across all the changes. So you can see the most expensive pull requests or the pull requests that saved you the most amount of money. You can also customize the prices. So a lot of the larger companies we work with have custom discounts from AWS, like AWS EDP discounts or Azure Enterprise Agreement discounts. So that's kind of geared towards usually the manager use case. And there's a lot more going to be coming around notifications and kind of best practice recommendations and things like that. So what I want to do today is, let me log out and kind of go through the whole flow. So if you go here, it's a free trial product, so you can just click on, you don't need to speak to us, you can just create a new organization and try it. So what I'm going to do is demo one new, actually I'm going to demo the three main kind of things we've changed. So the way you use Infracost Cloud is by getting an API key from your org settings page, and then either ticking this box, or there's an environment variable as well that you can set in CI/CD. Once you've done that and you've added Infracost to your CI/CD systems, you can send a pull request, and then you'll see this view right here. So what this is showing you are all the pull requests over the last 37 or 90 days. And you can see there's a zero line here. Anything above this line is a pull request that increased the costs. Anything below this line is anything that decreased the costs. So for example, I can see this pull request here. Someone added more IOPS from the pull request title, and it increased the cost by about 38%. If I click on that, I can jump in to the actual pull request and say, hey, X, can you please review this? So it kind of creates a much tighter feedback loop where you don't have to wait for the bill to come, then figure out what happened, what did we do, what caused that cost spike. You can kind of see an early preview of what's coming up to your bill right now, and you can influence that by talking to the specific engineers working on those changes. We also show a breakdown or by users, by projects, or by pull requests, so you can see the pull requests that saved you the most amount of money as well. And you can change this view to go over this 90 days or 7 days. In the future, we'll probably provide a date picker so you can zoom in on a specific date range. This shipped this morning, Alistair, or yesterday. So it's brand new. From here, you can jump into the projects view where you can see all of the pull requests for a given project. So for example, if I switch here, I can see this specific project has had these pull requests, and it kind of gives me the same information. I can jump into the pull request to see what happened. So for people who are outside of the engineering team or outside of the day-to-day workings with Terraform and pull requests, they can kind of see what were the changes and see a total breakdown of the project at that snapshot in time, and again, kind of jump in to discuss if needed. So those are the two main changes we've made recently. I talked about the custom price books. That's available right here. So if you're using any of the discounts, usually companies spending of upwards of $1 million on any cloud vendor, they'll have some sort of discounts. You can just enter discount percentages here, and going forward, all cost estimates. So any pull request comments that are sent in GitHub, any CLI runs that use this API key, or any numbers you see on the Infracost Cloud product, they will reflect that discount. It's as simple as that. Those were the main things I wanted to talk about on Infracost Cloud. We're working on multi-user access. So soon you'll be able to invite other people to your organization. And those are the main changes I think we're working on right now, right, Alistair? Anything else we want to talk about or give a preview to the community?
No, not yet. I think just the multi-user stuff is coming soon.
Yep, that's the main thing we've heard is give me access to, give me a way to give access to other people in the team so we can share this organization view with others. I'll pause here. Josh, any questions?
No questions for me.
Awesome. Those are the main topics I wanted to cover. I don't know if there's anything else, Alistair, we missed, or any other things we want feedback on from the community.
I just wanted to put out a reminder by the GitHub Action Cache. It'd be super helpful to hear about people's experience with that and timings for that, if it did improve significantly or not. It's one of those things that's hard to measure before we put it in front of people. So getting people to use it on real projects is important.
Definitely. Josh, any final questions for you or any feedback or comments?
No, I think just the main thing, seeing the Visual Studio Code extension, that just kind of the immediate benefit of kind of seeing the costs up front before having to kind of dig through an AWS bill or a cost explorer. It's kind of giving me ideas about how we can kind of get cracking with it straight away. So not really helpful. Thanks. Awesome. Yeah, it's been really fun watching what users do with Visual Studio and how they use it day to day. So any feedback, once you start using it, let us know. It's an area we want to invest more time on as well. That's it. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you at the next community call. Bye.